It has been a while, but we are finally back to do some work on this Talaria Sting, which we bought here in the UK from a police auction. If this is your first time watching the channel, I'm Matt Francis and we like to do videos on electric bikes, electric dirt bikes and all sorts of content like that really. And if this isn't your first time watching the channel, then you'll be no stranger into knowing that this Talaria Sting, which we bought from a police auction, was absolutely battered when we first bought it. We've made some really good progress on this bike so far, although it's been a really long journey and we've got a very long way to go before this bike is anywhere near finished. And way back in the first episode of this little series that we've been doing, we tried to clean this bike, but we didn't really have the best equipment for cleaning the bike. So we're going to start this episode by giving this bike the full works, full deep clean, getting it back to the state that it always should have been in the first place. Let's do it. And I'm still suffering from that really bad toe injury I recently had, so please excuse the very suitable footwear. After making sure the bike was still working properly, we started attacking the bike, starting with some strong bike cleaner and a thorough jet wash. With all the surface dirt now blasted off this Talaria, we could start digging in with the contact wash, which agitates any remaining dirt. After we'd given the Talaria a final rinse down, and I'd finished up eyeing up the potential future builds, we moved the Talaria into the workshop for the next stage of the rebuild. So now we give the bike a full clean down. It is looking so much fresher than it was before. With all the parts that we've put on this bike, it is looking amazing, but like I said, we haven't come to stop here. We've still got more to go on this bike. All I can say for now is Race Nation has got involved with this build as well, so let's just get straight into putting the next few things on. Before we do that, we need to rewind to a couple of weeks ago where we finally received some of the replacement parts to continue this build. In this first package we've got a brand new front mudguard, a battery lid latch and some wheel bearings. We also bought some new brake pads and a set of Renthal half waffle grips. We decided to start by replacing the front wheel bearings, which we knew needed replacing from a previous episode. After removing the front wheel, we got a heat gun and applied some heat to the hub of the front wheel. This makes it easier to remove the old wheel bearing. With a long screwdriver we tapped out the bearing evenly to prevent it from getting wedged inside the hub. After cleaning the bearing spacer, we could take the brand new front wheel bearings and tap it back into the wheel hub, again making sure to keep the pressure even to avoid it getting wedged. The next job we needed to tackle was draining out the old gearbox oil from the gearbox. We started by unscrewing the filler cap and then releasing the drainage bolt to allow the oil to drain out, and the old oil was actually pretty clean. We then reinstalled the drainage bolt back onto the gearbox and slowly but surely refilled the gearbox with the correct amount of oil. Then finally, we could reinstall the filler cap and start putting this Talaria back together. Once the centre of the bike was put back to one piece, I could then work on installing the brand new front mudguard and reinstalling the front wheel back onto the forks. In the meantime, Jay was working on the battery lid and he installed the new latch. This is the piece that keeps the battery lid shut. Finally, we were making some good progress on all the small jobs we had to do to this Talaria. The next job was replacing the rear brake pads, as the old ones were worn and contaminated with brake fluid. At this point it felt like we were really making some good progress with this Talaria. The hard work was paying off and it was looking more and more like a usable bike. Some of you may have noticed at the start of this video we had already changed the foot peg brackets from the bent and broken brackets that came on this bike to a brand new set of gold mounts. We chose these to match the gold handlebars that were already on the bike when we bought it. Moving back into the workshop, it was time to start the real transformation on this Talaria, and it was all made possible thanks to Race Nation and their incredible knowledge and creativity with their graphics kits. We wasted no time on starting to apply the graphics as precisely as possible onto this bike. This was made a lot easier with Race Nation's precise cutouts, which fit nearly every piece perfectly. Even though the original faceplate was a bit creased, we still decided to use it, and with the new faceplate graphic applied, it was a massive difference and we could really see the bike coming to life. Talaria was really taking shape and the bike was looking tidy, but we had to replace them nasty beating grips which were on this auction bike. We were swapping to the Renthal half waffle grips, which are a much nicer feeling grip, and they made a huge improvement to the looks alone. One of the final pieces to this puzzle was the struggle of installing the brand new tyres that we bought for the bike, seeing as the original tyres were cooked. For the front, we got a Kenda Washougal 70-119, which is the same size as the original tyres, but much better tread. And for the rear, we got a Kendra EMX tyre, which are made for electric dirt bikes. They come in an 80-119 size, which is a wider, fatter tyre for the rear. And after popping 2 new tubes with tyre levers, somehow Jay and Coxie managed to fit the new tyres without using tyre levers. Animals. So the Talaria is now about finished. It has been a long journey start to finish. But there's one final thing we need to do to the bike before it's completely done. And that is cut off the auction tag from the bike. So final moment of this Talaria build is getting rid of this thing. If we can. We don't really have the correct tools. We've done it. That's it. Build's finished. Let's go. So I would say that this Talaria is as good as done, and considering where this bike started all those months ago when we first bought it, first cleaned it and first started doing any work on it, it has come a long way. This bike was in such a state, and to see it in this sort of state now is some sort of a miracle. It actually feels like miracle work has been performed. But obviously the graphics kit has made a huge difference to this bike. Massive shout out to Race Nation for sending out the graphics kit, and it's amazing what a graphics kit can do to your bike. You saw what this thing looked like before we put the graphics on. It's not only the graphics kit that we've done to this bike though. We obviously started with fixing the motor, the gearbox, all of the electrical side of things, making sure the bike and the powertrain was running first. But then we moved on to transforming the bike by doing things like even the tyres, the seat cover, all the cosmetic parts, and the whole bike is completely transformed from an absolute shipwreck to what we could class as a pretty stylish bike, I'd say now. So with all that being said, if you do want to see this bike in another video where we take this bike out and ride it, you're going to have to hit that subscribe button down below. If you like what we've done to this bike from start to finish, you're going to have to smash that like button as well. For the time being, until the next video, I've been Matt Francis, this has been Jay, I'm signing out. Peace.